be a favorite vlogger from sunny Florida. I hope you can hear me well. I'm not gonna scream like bloody murder because I'm wearing mic and I'm in my beautiful kitchen and we're cooking borscht. You can see on my stove I'm already making some bone broth. Yes, I'm using beef. I'm using beef back ribs. They were pretty greasy, and I'm using some beef stew to make my own broth. I love beef bouillon. I love beef broth, and the best for my borscht I found, like over the years, I used to make my borscht with chicken. I used to make my borscht with pork. When we were kids, we mostly ate a lot of pork. It was cheaper. And where we grew up in Eastern Europe, people ate a lot of pork. In Moldova, where I'm from. But we're staying away from pork meat now. So I'm cooking my borscht with, let me show you. I'm cooking it with the beef. I'm cooking it with the beef meat. And I got it, the meat on the bone. So this way the broth gonna have lots of good protein and collagen. So for the borscht, the main ingredient for the borscht is cabbage. So my daddy helped me to cut some cabbage. Also, borscht is made with beetroot. It's also called Russian beetroot soup, Russian, Ukrainian, Eastern European beet soup. So I have beets from France. I buy my organic beets in Costco, and they already cooked. And those beets are from France, so hopefully they're good beets. I also have 4 peeled potatoes. My daddy peeled potatoes for me. My daddy peeled me some onion because I like to saute my vegetable or like fry a little bit my vegetable for the borscht. Welcome to my live stream. I cannot read you, and I also use sliced carrots to fry a little bit with my borscht. You're beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet to say that. I'm Kate. Welcome to my live stream. I'm in my beautifully renovated kitchen. I'm gonna put my apron. I bought this apron in Sicily because I like to cook with my apron, not to get my clothes messed up. So I'm like a real chef cooking with the apron. Hello, привет, Ларочка. Делаем борщик. My name is Mahmoud. Welcome, Mahmoud. Thank you for your kind comments. So, Ларочка, готовим борщик. Папа Гена все почистил, все порезал. Лара, вы пишете по-русски или по-английски? Because I read from Ларушка 340, I read hello, which is in Russian. Папа порезал капусты. Это свекла. Я все приготовила. У меня было немножко грибов. Я их тоже засуну, поджарю в борщ. Томат. Папа почистил картошку. И у нас есть I write in Russian. Окей, значит, у нас какие-то settings новые на... There are new settings on live stream that people, when they write in Russian, YouTube automatically writes all the comments in English. И еще папа вот on my dad, he also baked some potatoes because we're gonna do vinaigrette. Винегретик. Вот у нас есть огурчики на винегрет. И у нас есть баночка горошка на винегрет. So we're gonna make Russian beet salad, which is called vinaigrette. What kind of jewelry you have? What do you like to do? What kind of jewelry I have? Well, I have few diamond jewelry, but my husband gave me my diamond ring before we got married, and I have the wedding band that has diamonds. But mostly some of my jewelry is real gold and some of my jewelry is fake gold. I enjoy listening to music, doing healthy sports, watching TV, and being with friends. Good for you. I enjoy cooking for my family because when I cook, I put my love and care so my family can eat healthy food. I believe cooking at home, making you control the intake of salts, intake of fats, and grease, and I believe in cooking because cooking is healthier than eating out at the restaurants or just, you know, cooking from scratch makes you eat a little more fresh food rather than preserved food. You have a smile, my brother, the most beautiful in the world. I can smile. I don't know. I'm sleepy this morning. I took my time. I slept until 9:30, I think. And then my dad made those thin crepes. My dad makes crepes for Chandan. Hi, Mom. Hi, welcome to my live stream. I don't know who you are, but I'm not your mom. But we have maslenitsa. It's at the end of February. There is a tradition when people cook crepes. At the end of the winter, they're ready for spring, and they celebrate. And I think it's when you cook crepes, they look a little bit like a sun, so everybody's waiting for the spring. We call it maslenitsa. Yeah, I think in England they have something similar, like a pancake holiday or something. So my dad cooks crepes every morning on Saturdays. So when the kids are home, not going to school, we all have crepes on Saturday mornings. You have a smile. Welcome to my live stream. I have 5 people. So because everything is ready, I will just need to slice my vegetables for my vinaigrette. So vinaigrette is a beet salad. Usually where we're from, the winters are very cold, and we only have, when I grew up, we only had beetroot vegetables during the winter time. So I take this big bowl because I'm gonna slice some beets. I think I will be ready to make my zajarka. Zajarka, it's beets and carrots and onions fried together before they go to the borscht. And I'm going to try the meat and see if my beef is already cooked. So after the beef broth is cooked, I can start putting my vegetables in. Thank you for watching. So today I have an interesting topic for you. I've been thinking about... Смотрите, какая косточка красивая. Дайте я вас сюда принесу. Боже, какая красота. Я хочу попробовать кусочек мяса. So beautiful. Let me show you. Let me show you. Смотрите. Какая у меня косточка. Ой. Splashing. So this is beef. But this beef, I'm gonna try if it's cooked. I'm gonna try a little piece and see if it's cooked. Yeah, I think it's cooked. I can't slice it because it's splitting in my face. Okay, so the topic of the live stream, 7 people. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kate B. I live in Central Florida. I'm cooking in my kitchen, and I'm just, don't like to be alone. And my kids are in the theater. They have a rehearsal. They're getting ready for theater show. My husband is at work because he has to work. It's a busy season for him. Alaya Karik, welcome to live stream. Hi. And I'm cooking borscht because something to eat. I'm cooking my beetroot salad, and I'm also gonna cook my kotlety, my chicken flat meatballs, or whatever you wanna call them, cutlets. Yeah, they're called Buletten in Germany, but I'm gonna cook them from chicken and turkey. So I'm going to probably go ahead and dice my onion because I need to put everything in fried before I put it in my borscht. So since my broth is ready, I can put potatoes. And after you have everything ready and peeled, borscht is probably, and your broth is ready, everything else probably take 30 minutes from start to finish, because I have this technology. I read this recipe long time ago. My mom showed me how to cook borscht, but she didn't have like a recipe. She says she does everything by the eye, so I did everything by the eye too. But I found that recipe, and it made sense because it tells you what time you should put everything in. So after your broth is cooked, listen to that. After your broth is cooked, it takes 30 minutes to put all the ingredients in. 30 minutes, not more. So how you do it? You cube the potatoes, And the first go potatoes, and then 5 minutes after potatoes, the cabbage goes, because cabbage, I don't like my cabbage to be overcooked, so the cabbage takes about 15 minutes to cook. Actually, it's 25 minutes, yeah. So cabbage only takes about 15 minutes to cook, and potatoes takes about like 15-20 minutes to cook, but you don't want everything to fall apart and be overcooked. So with my beets, onion and carrots, I'm gonna fry them, and I'm gonna add a little bit, and at the end I'm gonna add them right before everything is cooked. And I also garnish my borscht with fresh herbs, so my fresh herbs I'll put when I serve the plate. Today I also have this spicy pepper. I think that's what you call a chili pepper, and my husband likes a little bit spicy in his borscht. And of course at the end for the borscht I'm gonna put some garlic. Yeah, I already have pulled garlic. So first of all, when your broth is cooked, just dice your potato. Actually, yeah, dice. I dice it. My dad loves potato in any form and cooking. So, and the potato goes in. Here, the potato goes in. Let me take you. The potato goes in, and you put your timer for 5 minutes. Everything needs to be boiling. So when you put your potatoes in, don't want to splash it. Okay. I put the 5 and I put a little bit more heat. So it's gonna start, everything gonna start boiling. Alexa, time 5 minutes, because in 5 minutes I'm going to put in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Okay. And while my cabbage and potatoes will be cooking, I'm gonna saute my onion and other veggies on the stove. So I'm gonna start the stove. I'm gonna pour some olive oil. Yeah, I have olive oil for cooking and I have olive oil for salads. It's important to me because I'm using healthier oil usually. So I started my stove for frying some other vegetables, and I'm going to grate my beets. Okay, the beets are very juicy, and I suggest when you grate some beets, you wear an apron or you wear something because you can stain your clothes. So here's my beets, and I'm using this big grater, and I'm gonna just grate them real fast. Смотрите, как у меня тут все будет спориться. So today I was thinking about the topic, and I decided to talk, like I'm turning 50 this year, and it's a lot of going on through my head, like, oh, 50, how did they get here? I don't feel 50, why it happened so fast, and blah, blah, blah. But finally, I found myself accepting the age, and finally I'm so happy and content with myself and how my life is going at 49. So I've been like a little bit like thinking just to understand why so many years, like from 35 to about 45, this 10 years, I didn't like myself. Why it happens to the best of us? Why it happens to the regular women who are like, to the regular women at this age when they're not happy in general, when they're not happy with themselves, when they have like different insecurities, when they keep comparing themselves, or they don't think highly of themselves. Why it happens to us in a certain age? And I can tell about like the psychology, because we are all from different cultures, we're all from different backgrounds, we all had different parents and countries we grew up in. And I'm looking at my kids and I think they're gonna be different because they are Tariq. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by on my live stream. So I've been thinking that my girl's not gonna have those problems. My girl's gonna probably be a little more rounded up. And again, why I didn't accept myself? Why didn't I like my age between 35 and 45? Why did I have so many insecurities? And finally, at 49, like having my YouTube channel, I can express myself and I can talk about it freely. I can talk about it from my heart. Why did I feel like that? Why did I feel like a total failure from 35 to 45? Why I was so reserved? Why I was so insecure? I don't know. And now when I'm 49 and finally I'm like so much more content and I'm not scared of that age, and I figured out, I educated myself about body changes, about menopause, about psychology, and I like 49, and I finally start to understand why I felt so weird between 35 to 45. So maybe if you're watching that stream and you're like in your early 40s and you know what I'm talking about, not accepting yourself, like not liking yourself, thinking like you're a total failure or you're a loser, this stream is for you. And we're cooking. How are you doing? Tariq, hi. I'm doing great. I had the muse today to spend in my kitchen and talk to my viewers because my kids are so independent. They're in the theater doing a rehearsal for the show. My husband works on Saturdays because it's busy season. My dad is watching his TV and he helped me get all the vegetables ready for my cooking. So I can finally be in my kitchen and cook, and I had the muse to cook fresh food and talk to my viewers about life and how women should feel. So again, it all depends what culture we grew in. I'm gonna take you to the stove. Okay, my oil is already boiling, so while I was talking I needed to slice my onion first because onion goes on my stove in my fries. So, and what made me think about these things, that we had a huge birthday party for my friend who turned 50, and this is my childhood friend from the elementary school. I probably knew her since I was 7. We didn't go to the same class until we were in high school, but we still kept in touch after she immigrated. We wrote letters and we reconnected when I came back to the United States in 2008. We reconnected. She was in immigration since 1993, right after high school, but I came here in 2006, but we reconnected in 2008. Alexa, start timer for another 15 minutes, please. So after the 5 minutes of potatoes, I can put my cabbage. And I have like a medium size cabbage, but I'm not gonna put all of it. I'll probably put like half of it, because another maybe half or 1/3 I will use to make a salad, maybe tomorrow. Так, so Alexa, how much is left on the timer?
You have 14 minutes left on your 20-minute timer.
Good, thank you. So I'm dicing some onion because I'm gonna do onion. So we're really friends from the early age, and we come from the same culture, but we had different experiences. She immigrated right after high school, and I immigrated later in life when I was 30. But you know, we kept in touch, and she's the one who made me feel like family. She's the one that around her I can be myself, and I love her. She like our kids were growing together. They consider themselves cousin. So I, through the years, I've seen her the most, more than my sisters, because she would come visit Florida often, and we get together often, and we would go visit her in Missouri. But what I'm talking about, we celebrated my 40th birthday with other classmates who flew from California, who flew from Canada. And when I was 40, we celebrated in Las Vegas, and my husband went with me, and all these girls went, my classmates. And my husband, he said, "You were so happy to be around your girls." And I said, yeah, they made me feel like I'm 18 again. They made me feel I'm young and furious, and we catch up together like we never left, like we never immigrated, and we never had this 20 years apart. So we catch so easily, like we catch right after where we left off in high school. But because I kept in touch with them when they came here, it was easy to get together and be happy together. And just I was 40, but I didn't realize 40 came so fast. But now this year we're like, it's even faster. We're all turning 50, and we're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And I started to think to myself, even when I was 40, my kids were still young, and being around my girls made me so happy, made me young and furious again. And we were like remembering things, we were gossiping, we were discussing world problems. But it made me feel so good to be around my girls, that feeling. But at 40, I remember at 40 my younger daughter was 2. Байки, привет, заходи, готовим борщ. Смотри, какой шикарный борщ у нас будет. Готовим борщ и говорим за жизнь. Почему женщины не любят себя в 35, в 45, и почему они начинают снова себя любить от 45 до 50. What we're cooking? Борщик и винегретик. What's your version? How was your version? Mariana Andre, welcome. Did you go swimming? Yes, I went swimming in Aruba. Fermented cabbage today. Oh, good for you. Fermented. Соленая капуста. Нет, у меня свежая капуста. Папа мне нарубил капустки. Папа сделал блины утром. Байка, посмотрите, у нас настоящая масленица. Так, подождите, это у меня сейчас сгорит лук. So, why we didn't like ourselves? We met and we had such a good time. And my husband told me, you just turned 40 and you still all looked young and happy. And you like to be around each other. You were like shining and laughing and, taking tons of pictures. But back then I just had my second child, and my child was like 2 or 2.5. And I felt so stressed, and I felt so wrapped up in the, like the kids were young. I was stressing about everything. I was stressing about work. I was stressing like, am I a good mother to my children? Do I spend enough time with them? I was stressing about money. There are 3 dots at the bottom left. Click there if you want to remove the translation. Ага, спасибо, что ты мне сказала. Сейчас попробую. 3 dots, окей. Ой, подожди. 3 dots. Remove the translation. Hide use on the channel. Если хочешь убрать перевод. Супер. Все, уже вижу по-русски. Внизу 3. Channel activity. Put use in time. How to use it. Channel activity. Remove. Так, сейчас вижу твой комментарий по-русски, но почему-то не могу убрать. Так, on the bottom left. Click if you want to remove translation. On the bottom left. Automatic chat translation. О, Байки, спасибо тебе, моя дорогая. Все, поняла. Remove the translation. Напиши что-то еще по-русски, чтобы я проверила, что работает. Супер, нашла, разобралась. Так, жарю лук. Теперь добавляю морковку. Морковка у меня сырая, и уже у меня эта морковка была shredded. Морковка уже была порезана. И потом я добавлю, в зажарку я добавляю специи, я добавляю томат, и я добавляю бит. So, and I was 40, and I looked, тест, отлично, супер, да, теперь по-русски. Спасибо, что ты мне сказала, а то многие не могли понять, почему комментарии на русском читаются на английском. Да, теперь нашла, да, на settings. Нужно убрать перевод. Спасибо огромное, Байка. So Baika is my viewer in Russian, and she just told me why I don't see the comments in Russian when my Russian-speaking viewers write to me. And she was very nice to explain to me how to remove the translation. YouTube does an automatic translation for the comments that are written in a different, like in Russian language, and they show up in my chat in English. Thank you, Baika. Вот. И я рассказываю, почему мы не любили. Кто у меня здесь есть? Ларисочка, вы еще здесь? Вы понимаете, что я говорю? Сегодня тема очень интересная, почему мы не любим себя с 35 до 45. Но у всех по-разному. И вот я себя вспоминаю в 40 лет. И and I was 40 But I didn't like myself. I was so stressed. My body was so big and I had this cortisol in me. I had a lot of anxieties about every little thing, how everything goes, what my friends gonna think about me, what we're gonna eat. Like every little thing bothered me. Every little thing made me go nuts. Папа, что ты там стучишь? Папа стучит. So, and I was so stressed, and nothing was wrong with me, nothing. I had stable job, my husband had stable job, financially, sometimes it was rough to pay the bills, but most of the time we managed because both of us worked, and we were like doing good with our finances. We knew how much we spent. We didn't buy luxury stuff, we didn't go on luxury vacations, so we kind of lived within our means, and we could afford to go to Las Vegas for my celebration. And I remember that, I told my husband, it's going to be probably expensive, and he said, who cares, you're 40, I want you to have good times. So we had best times. He paid for a nice restaurant for all of us to have dinner. We went for a show, and we stayed in a very, very nice hotel, beautiful hotel, Caesar Palace, and it was really like a magical birthday. But I worried so much. I didn't like my body. I was fat, I was overweight. I had a lot of insecurities, because I always thought that my girls are doing, like my classmates, they're doing so much better because they are very independent, they make more money than I do, or like they have better careers. And I was always like kind of like comparing myself. Am I good enough? And I felt like a fraud, I always like felt like, how can they even like me? I'm not like, I'm not as successful as they are, but they love me anyways. They said, nothing wrong with you, we still love you. You just, have your own career path. You work where you work, you raise beautiful, healthy children, you have a husband. So they never thought something wrong with me, and they loved me for who I am. That the same Kate they grew up with, the same happy Kate, but everything was in my head. They still were nice to me. They gave me beautiful gifts, and they showed up. They showed up in Las Vegas for my birthday, so it means a lot. People cannot just randomly leave their families to show up. And I remember my friend Victoria. She came from Canada, and her son was turning 10, and the same day I was turning 40. And he said, can you imagine, I'm here celebrating your 40th, and I'm not with my son because he's 10. And we were laughing. I'm like, wow, that's a big deal that your friends can be with you on your birthday. And it's nothing more comforting to know that these people can show up for you just to be there. So when my friend invited me to go to Aruba to celebrate her 50th birthday, I'm like, it's February. Am I gonna be able to go, to leave my family behind? And my husband said, don't think about it, just go. So he bought me a ticket, and he said, you're gonna be there for Angelina, you're gonna celebrate, you're gonna have a good time. And at 50, I realized it was such a good time we spent in Aruba. And at 50, I felt so much more confident and so much more mature than I felt in my 40s. So celebrating Angelina's birthday made me think, oh my gosh, finally I'm content. And I remember like at 40, Vika was telling me, you just feel stressed because your kids are still, young, and when they become more independent, you're going to have more time for yourself, you're going to have a little more freedom, a little more room to play, and it's all going to get better. And Vika's kids were a little older than mine back then, and I'm like, what's she talking about? I'm like stressed as my personality. I'm anxious because it's my personality, because I'm like a ball of nerves. I'm like a freak. That's my personality. It has nothing to do with my kids. I'm gonna always be stressing about things. But she was right. Things fell in place. Whether I was stressing, maybe because I was stressing, maybe because I figured out logistics, because we have help in the family, my dad lives with us, maybe because I'm fortunate enough to have that stable job from 8 to 5, and when I raise my kids and something wrong with them and they're sick, I can come home and I can take care of them. So maybe everything kind of within this last 10 years, maybe everything started to fall in place a little better. And the other thing, I got more mature. I started to realize that there is a waste of energy, there is a waste of my resources, there is a waste of my good mood to be stressed, to be anxious. And I started to kind of like be in the energy saving mode. I also recently started to take some supplements, and it helps to calm down my nerves. And I also lost a lot of weight. I eat less greasy food, I eat less sugars, and I also noticed that I feel so much happy and healthy and so much content. And I don't know if it's a maturity because of your age, or it's you learn how to deal with a lot of things. And it's also the understanding what's going on, and it's also like accepting yourself for who you are, either your looks or age or wrinkles. I still have wrinkles, I still like makeup, I still like to do a little bit of Botox treatment, and I still like to take good care of myself. But you know, I learned that it's not all about your appearances, it's how you feel inside. And I think I'm in that stage when I feel great inside, when everything I do has a meaning to it. Like I'm like, oh, usually from January to March we have a season, but we have like competition season, and we travel a lot over the weekends. And every season I get anxious. Oh my gosh, we're gonna travel again, and so much money. But this year I'm like so content. I'm happy. The schedule is in. We plan our days around schedule. Okay, see, это моя зажарка. That's how it looks, зажарка. And now I'm gonna add tomato. And when the alarm gonna go off, I'm gonna put everything in my borscht, and the borscht pretty much gonna be ready. Okay, let me put my tomato paste. Okay, this is the tomato paste. And I'm gonna put like a one big full teaspoon. If you like your borscht to be a little more red, you can put more tomato paste, but I like it to be red from the beets, not from the tomato. The tomato paste just gives it a little bit of sour in your borscht. So, but some people like more tomato. You can also put tomato juice if you don't have paste, but I always put like one big full teaspoon, and it's enough for my borscht. So while my cabbage is boiling, and in my zажарка I'm putting all my seasonings. I'm gonna put a little bit of curcuma, ground turmeric. I'm gonna put a little bit of coriander. Я это в зажарку все кладу. I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic powder because I love garlic powder. It doesn't have salt. I'm gonna put salt in my borscht at the end. Alexa, stop. And I put a little bit of paprika. So I finally understood that you can do the same things. By the time your kids are a little bit of growing, they do a lot more independent work for themselves. You don't need to figure out, like sometimes if they don't eat on time, you don't need to stress about. They're older, they're gonna figure it out, they're gonna find something to eat. If I'm not home, they can figure out like noodles or ramen, or they can make something. They can boil an egg, they can make a sandwich. So they're very capable of doing things for themselves. So I don't need to stress every minute that my kids are hungry, or where they are. And my daughter, she drives now. She takes a load of like going picking them up. If they're in the theater together, she drives them back home. So I don't need to worry about going and constantly looking at my watch and picking them up, because I can cook, so I can relax. And I can also do my own things. I can do my YouTube, I can do my makeup. So what I'm trying to say, like in my case, I didn't like myself because I didn't like myself back then because I was very stressed and I couldn't slow down and I couldn't tell myself, hey, listen, things gonna fall in place. You're very responsible. You're a good mother. You're very organized. Things are going well. My husband has a beautiful, stable job, like a very good career. I don't have to worry about, I don't need to worry to make more money. And I never wanted to be a stay-home mom because I was staying home with my first child for about 2 years, and I remember that feeling that I needed to have a job. I needed to be useful somewhere else. I don't want just to be stuck at home, cook and clean all the time and focus on the baby. I wanted to show my baby that, women can have career and can have a fulfilling job and go somewhere and, be appreciated and, realize their skills somewhere else besides being a housewife. So I never wanted to be a stay-home mom, but when I see people going on vacations and randomly leaving at the time, they want, I'm like, I get a little bit of jealous because when you're not working like I full-time, you have more room to take vacations in less busy times. But we are tied to the schedule of work. We are tied to the schedule of busy time at work. We are tied with kids' school, so we can't randomly leave for vacations. So we probably plan vacations around holiday time, in summer and stuff like that. But it all doesn't come to you at 35. It comes to you at 45 when you start to realize everything works how you organize it. And by the time you're 45 up to 50, you become a little more mature and you don't have attitude. You don't think every little what's going on is the end of the world. And you kind of calm down. Like even me, an anxious personality, even me, a crazy woman who is like stressed about every little detail, and I'm OCD, I need to do something. If I can just sit down and read a book. If I read the book for 15 minutes, I always feel guilt that something else is not done, more important. And I've been like that for the most of my life. But finally, I'm slowing down. And when my friend told me it becomes easier, окей, смотрите, вот это зажарка и вот мой борщ. Капуста почти готова, поэтому мы кидаем нашу зажарку. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Мне нравится. Ой, забыла грибы кинуть. Я хотела грибы тоже в зажарку кинуть, потому что у меня оставалось немножко грибов. Yeah, I'm crazy. I put a little bit of mushrooms because I didn't want my mushrooms to go bad. Но я могу их добавить тоже сюда в конце. Hold on. Добавлю сейчас, ничего им не будет. Они немножко добавят такого, как сказать, разнообразия в борщ. Yeah, you can put, like some people put beans, canned beans or regular beans in the borscht, but I decided to put a little bit of mushrooms. Who cares? Save the mushrooms, right? Смотрите, какой красивый наваристый борщ. Какая косточка прекрасная. Боже, какой красивый борщ. Не знаю, немало капусты. Мой папа не любит очень густой. So my father doesn't like the borscht too thick. We all love the liquid in the borscht, like the broth. So I'm just trying. Like even now, I'm worried if my borscht is too thin, like not enough cabbage. But everything is enough, don't worry. So being an anxious person, hi, thanks God, I'm not mature yet. Хорошо, Маска, вы не mature, у вас другая ситуация, вам не надо за все переживать, у вас более легкий характер. У меня тяжелый характер. I'm an anxious ball, I'm like a stress ball. But I slow down. И я на самом деле сейчас поняла, что я наконец-то прихожу в такое состояние идиллии. So I'm in my zen. I'm happy with everything. But first of all, I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with my health. Finally, I look like $1 million girl. Like I've never been dreaming to be 53 kilos again. And the fat body was killing me. The fat body and the unhealthy lifestyle, eating sugars, being overweight, having a risk of heart disease made me so anxious about. I think it's all connected. Like how if you're healthy physically, you gonna have less stress about things mentally. So I think mental and physical health, they are connected. And I noticed after I lost the weight, after I stopped eating, bad foods, even bad foods bring you a lot of dopamine. I started to be less anxious, like everything started to be like pretty much smooth, Yeah, I do worry occasionally, like I do worry if that borscht is thick enough. I'm like, But, in 5 minutes, everybody gonna enjoy the borscht, and it's gonna be really good, and I'm not gonna be worried about it being thick or thin anymore. Так. Не знаю, сейчас надо попробовать на соли, посмотреть, если достаточно соли, и добавить чесночка. And then we're gonna take care of chopping some herbs. So, Maska, you're not mature. I am mature because I look at things differently. I don't have this stressed approach anymore. I'm like, whatever, everything gonna fall in place. It did fall before. So from my experiences, stress takes a lot of my energy and I feel worn out at the end of the day. And now when I feel less stressed, like at work, somebody bothers me, I'm like, I don't need to reply to this email this minute. I'm not somebody's slave. If I'm reacting, like if I'm overreacting and something doesn't work the way it's supposed to go, I'm just getting up, go for a brief walk, just move, Just move, get out of the office, just go see the sun, go see the young people around the campus. I work on a university campus and it's so beautiful there. Go see the fountain, go get splashed by the fountain water, And I come back and I'm like, I'm not gonna even write that mean email anymore. I'm gonna just say, okay, whatever, I'll wait another 2 days when this book becomes available. Why did we pay for that? And it's not even published. It's not my problem. They sold it to us. It wasn't my mistake. It was something that we were not aware that the publisher didn't publish it. We paid for it. The vendor should provide it for us. Okay, it's not going to be this week. It's going to be in 2 weeks, but the world is not going to fall apart. So my attitude changed, and I don't know. I call it maturity, but I call it I also call it that I become more of an energy saver. I'm very much aware. I'm like nice to myself. I haven't been nice to myself for like maybe 10 years because again, I was fat. I had the risk of cardiac disease. I was like not having good time to take care of myself. I would go to Zumba class, but after the COVID, I didn't go to Zumba for 4 years. I only came back to Zumba class at 2024. And I'm like, wow, I missed all these 4 years being in my like shell, getting like fat, not moving enough. But since, again, and it's all connected, if you have family, if you have higher priorities and responsibilities, when your kids are young, of course, you have more responsibilities to spend time with them, to, take them places, to make sure they do well in school, to make sure they have good food, to make sure they're busy, not staying on their computers all night, whatever, all day, and stay there on tablets and phone. You have all these priorities and responsibilities. But when your kids are older, my younger kid's going to be 13 this year, my older kid is going to be 17. I'm like, oh wow, they're so independent. But that independency didn't come overnight. Maybe me and my husband, we did, and my dad helped us to raise them. We did something right. We showed them that you should be organized. We showed them you should be responsible. You can't be a bum just laying down all day on the couch and things fall on your, head. They're doing great at school academically. They're involved in social life. They do theater. They do sports. They have good group of friends, and we always know where they are and which crowd they hang out with. And it gives us more peace. And it didn't come overnight. All these years when I didn't like myself, I think I was sacrificing my, I shouldn't say my sanity. Yeah, I've been sacrificing my energy to make sure, my kids are okay. But now they're a little older and more independent, and I don't need to stress as much as they stressed when they were little. I have more time for myself. I can lay down, read a book. I can scroll my YouTube. I can, I can cook my foods. I can talk to my viewers. I can do my weird shorts about Zumba. I can go somewhere without feeling guilty that my my kids are not taken care of. Now I have this freedom. And now I put a priority to take care of myself, but nobody explains it to you in the beginning, of your motherhood journey. Nobody explains it to you that happy moms raise happy kids. And I don't understand, why didn't I take care of myself like I do now at 35? I don't know why I was so focused and why I was so scared of everything. I was scared of money. I was scared of, I don't know, they do good in school. I was just stupid to have so many anxieties. And I'm trying to think that nowadays the young people are smarter. They know a little more about psychology. They know a little more about childhood trauma. And maybe their reactions are different. Again, I don't want to sound like, like a crazy woman, but I was crazy woman. From 35 to 45, I was crazy woman. I was a bitch, now I'm chill, I'm relaxed, and I like this chill feeling, I'm nicer to everybody at work. Like, I don't say I was mean. I started to work in the library 10 years, and with some colleagues I had like little misunderstandings and stuff, but mostly I had good work relationship at work. But now I'm even smarter. I know that I'm appreciated there. I know that I do excellent job. In the beginning, like I've been living in the mentality of doubting myself like all this time, from let's say from when I had kids up to 45. I've been doubting myself. I had the feeling that I'm a fraud, and I don't know why, because I think I was the third child. My mom loved me. She bought me, like my aunt and my mom, they always bought me nice clothes, and they wanted me to look cute, and but we were poor, and I always compared myself being in high school. I always compared myself to cool girls, and now I'm hanging with these cool girls. They have wonderful careers, they have beautiful families, good husbands, but I stopped comparing myself. Like, we had such a good time, like even going, spending time together, laughing. My husband couldn't come, and my friend Vika from Canada, she came with her husband, but we didn't meet her husband often. We usually met her alone with her daughter, or like when she would come to Florida, or when she would come to visit our other friend in Missouri. So I never had the chance to meet her husband, but we got to hang out this time, like last weekend. We spent time from Wednesday to and I said, wow, he's such a nice guy. He's from the same town I went to, my trade college, because before I went to college in Moldova, to 4-year college, I went to a 1-year college to get it was a trade college, just 1-year college, because I couldn't get to 4-year college right away. So that guy is exactly from that town. I went to my trade college, and I know we had something in common to talk about back then, how it was in the 90s. He's trying to do the horizontal tango with you. Who? Random user, I don't know who. Так, смотрите, я добавила, сейчас будем пробовать на соль. Я добавила чесночка. Oh my gosh, it's probably not salty, but I'm gonna add black pepper and salt at the end. Let me check. Ой, какой вкусный борщик. Ой, какой вкусный some broth is very good and greasy, but it's not salty at all. Let me see. Я сейчас добавлю соль и перец. Так, буду добавлять. He's trying to do the horizontal tango with you. I don't know what you mean by that, but thank you for stopping by, Nikon. So I get to know Vika's husband, and he's a nice guy, and I'm so glad he could come and join us. And Angelina came with her husband. My husband couldn't come, so I felt a little lonely, but he was such a gentleman, Vika's husband, and I felt so great about not, stressing out. We were all about the same age, and it doesn't matter. But when a gentleman is a gentleman, you don't care, you don't care. You just feel like you've known him for this like 30 years since high school, you know. So we had a good time. That's what I'm trying to say. I was so much more self-confident. Back in the day, I would probably be more reserved to talk to somebody's husband because I would think, oh, my friend gonna get jealous. But at some point I asked her, do you think I'm like flirting up with you? And she says, no, it's totally fine, don't worry about that. But you know, when you're young, you would be so much more reserved, thinking, oh my gosh, what if she thinks I'm flirting with her husband? But this time I did not. I just let myself loose, you know. It was such a good feeling. And that's important. That's important to be around people that make you feel good. So my wisdom is to you. The kitchen is beautiful. Thank you very much, random user. Yes, we just decorated. We just renovated it last December. Yes, and this kitchen December 2024. So this kitchen is about a year old, and I'm very happy how everything turned out, and it's very easy to use and to cook. So, смотрите, что я делаю. Какой у меня красивый борщ. Сейчас будем резать винегрет. Now we're gonna slice my salad. I've been 50 minutes. Yeah, it usually takes me 30 minutes because I was talking a lot. It took me, after my dad helped me peel all and prep all the vegetables, it took me 50 minutes to talk to you. So that's what my wisdom. Be around people that make you feel good. And you know, if you are not confident, like going to the new crowd, remember remember your own values, and remember that, you know, you've been here on this earth for so many years. You've been through immigration. You achieved a lot just coming to this country and learning a second language. So that's a big deal. For Americans that never travel outside of the state, it's a big deal that you came here as an immigrant and you made your American dream come true. And I'm not saying I've done it alone, because I don't have a successful career, but I managed to have a good balance. I have good family. I have good husband who has a successful career. I can have time to cook, take care of myself, my kids, and I also work full time. So I give myself a credit for all I've achieved, you know. But back in the day, again, I was growing when I was a kid, and it comes from your family. I was never good enough for my mom. Like, my mom would say, why it's 4 than 5, you know, like why it's 80% than 100% on the test. Like, your classmate could do it, but why you couldn't do it? So my mom always compared me to someone. And I think that comes from the childhood. They loved me dearly because I was a third child. I know they loved me dearly, but the culture was toxic back then, and I can't hold on to that. I've been holding on to that so long until I was in my mid-40s, then I realized, well, we know psychology now. They were wrong. You don't hold on they're wrong. You move on and you build your own psychology now. You build your own attitude. You build your own reactions. Yes, you were stressed. Yes, you were anxious, but don't hold on to this anxiety. Don't hold on to the stress. Find the tools that help you move on. Find the tools that make you more relaxed and happy. Find the tools that make you more content. So my tools to make me more content and happy is to be around my friends that make me feel good, you know. So my girls make me feel good. Like, Angelina always make me feel like a princess. She invites me to her birthday, and then we have a chef. So we are treated like royalty there. We had a chef in the villa. I have the whole apartment to myself. So I'm like, wow, how did I deserve to be here? How did I deserve to be here? But it doesn't matter. It's your friend. You kept in touch. You grew your kids together. You shared the happy moments and you shared sad moments. And that's how you are. You can be very authentic and truthful with your friends around. And if they make you feel good, they're true friends. That's it. So surround yourself with people that make you feel good and authentic, you know. Surround yourself with the people that you can cry with, and surround your people that you're not going to be ashamed of your fails or your shortcomings, you know. Surround with your people who know you, where you come from, and who know your background and how hard you worked. Surround with the people who appreciate you for who you are as a person, not your looks, you know. So that's my wisdom. And I'm like, wow, 50 is another, like, I'm 49. Up until 45, it was rough. Like, I wasn't satisfied. I was, again, like, I had everything. Again, it's not about struggling like financially, right? Because I had a stable job, my husband had a stable job, our girls went to good school, we live in a nice area, we can manage our bills. So it wasn't financial, it was something that I wasn't, I wasn't good enough. Maybe I should have done something better in my career. Maybe I should have done better as a mom, Maybe my kids were not in 5 sports, like maybe my kids didn't play piano and some other kids play piano. I kept comparing myself to Joneses all the time. And now it stopped. Now I'm at the point, oh my gosh, is it really me standing in this beautiful kitchen cooking my borscht and not feeling like a housewife stuck in the, in the kitchen and, like pregnant for the 5th time and not having social life, No, I'm a very well-rounded human. I'm a very well-rounded middle-aged woman. I managed to balance it all. Even with my anxieties, I call like stress and anxiety is a part of life. It's just for some people it's more, for some people it's less. Okay, why I'm standing next to my borscht? Let's go cook vinaigrette because I'm wrapped up in my thought. Do you know what I'm talking about? Please write me in the comment. The kitchen is beautiful. Thank you. Так, все, взяли большую миску. We're gonna use 4 potatoes. We're gonna use about half jar of this pickles. We're gonna use 1 can of sweet peas. We're gonna use a lot of cooked beets, and we're gonna use half of the onion. Also, some people use boiled carrots for this salad vinaigrette, but today I'm not gonna use any boiled carrots because I have carrots in my борщ. Папа, борщ готов, можешь кушать. Ага, зелень еще не порезала, but I'm gonna chop some greenery later because I like to use a lot of greenery to garnish my borщ. So, do you know what I'm talking about? So, don't be afraid of the age. Don't be afraid of the number, like I think for most people with life experiences, like if I wouldn't have kids, I wouldn't know how to be a good mom, If I wouldn't have a job, if I wouldn't be employed at the university, I wouldn't know how to be a good employee, how to be a good colleague, how to communicate with people. If I would be stuck in the house cooking my borscht every day, I wouldn't know how to socialize. I wouldn't have different group of friends who make me feel good and who make me feel well-educated and well-rounded. So it's all about experiences. So don't get stuck and wrapped up in your own thoughts. Don't be like at 35, like it applies to 35 to 45. I had my kids like relatively in a good time because I didn't have them too late and I didn't have them too early. So, but when I had my first child at around 32 and a half, I wasn't mature. I was so worried about not making money, not having career, and I was so worried. Maybe some people have postpartum depression. I don't think I had postpartum depression because I could stay with my daughter up till she was 2, and I always remember that I felt so bad because I thought we were struggling financially with money and I couldn't work. And I wanted to go to work. So I went back to work when my daughter was 4 months, and I went back to school and I went back to work. And my mother-in-law, she was very nice to come from Moldova and help me with the baby. But I needed to go. Because I needed a little bit of money. And back then we didn't have paperwork, immigration paperwork and I had to be on a special student visa. So I had to go back to class. I had to take full-time. I had an extra, admin certificate and management certificate from my college for this like extra semester I took. But it cost me a lot of money, and it cost me a lot of anxiety, and it cost me a lot of stress to be having a baby and go back to school and go back to work at the same time. But it worked out, back in the day. I remember myself struggling, but we pulled through, Yes, I was, didn't have enough sleep. Yes, I was irritated. Yes, sometimes I was not nice to my mother-in-law or my husband, but that's life, That was back then. I shouldn't I shouldn't feel guilty about that. It was an experience. Everything worked out. I stopped working after my kid was 9 months, and I had the luxury to stay home until she was about 2. And then I went back to be a barista, and then I got a job in college, like more office job. And then I got this another job in university. So I did grow in my career. It wasn't like that, I made it to a big boss. I'm a middleman. I'm like a supervisor for 2 people, and they have a lot of big bosses above me, and I have few people, I in my team I supervise. But it's a good balance for my mental health. It's a good balance to yes, I don't make a lot of money, but I sacrifice making a lot of money for stable work hours. I don't do overtime. I can be with my kids. I have sick time. I have balanced very good insurance plan, like state insurance plan. So I didn't understand that until, I started to express those thoughts to my husband, and he always was so nice and calm to explain me the things. He told me, you bring more to the table being not a career woman, but being involved with kids when they need you, and like still cooking, still, doing household chore, and being able to come home in a decent time. It's rough when people both have careers. It's rough. Who's gonna take care of your kids? But we made it work. My dad is here helping us. He lived with us since my second daughter was born. So it all worked out. But I'm thinking to myself, could it work out without me being so responsible and stressed and anxious? And probably it could. It's just my attitude was so bad. My attitude, my personality, and my insecurities, my immaturity caused this anxiety and stress to myself. And if I was mean at work, like I probably was mean to some people back in the older work, but I learned through those experiences. I'm not as nearly as mean now, because it all comes with experiences and communication skills and evolving as a person, like you become nicer. And then again, maturity and age play a big role. Like you don't have that attitude. You realize that you don't get anything, you don't get far with the attitude. You get far with the with the communication skills. You get a little further when you make people feel good rather than making people miserable, So that's my philosophy now. Okay, so now we're gonna do, I like those pickles because they add crunch to the salad. And if you don't like root vegetables that much, pickles and potato, they match very well. And the salad, when it has peas, canned peas have a good source of protein. 3 grams of protein in half a cup. So that's a good salad. And beet is such a good fiber for you. It helps your guts. Like I suggest you eat beet. I know Americans don't like beet, but that's how we ate when we were kids, and we never had GI problems. So I'm taking supplement. Like I stopped doing my weight loss shots for a month because I wanted to go for a birthday party, and I wanted to go and enjoy food and enjoy drinking. And I did it for 4 days. Oh my gosh. I didn't drink much, but I felt so full and happy because I'm not used to eating that much. But because we had the chef, I had to try all the food that the chef cooked for us, meats and shrimp and Caribbean rice and what else? Oh my gosh, we had such a nice breakfast, like brunch every day. We ate fruits and we ate poached eggs. We ate a lot of avocados. Oh my gosh, people. So I stopped my shots just to be able to eat a little more. And I felt very full. But because I'm taking berberine as a supplement to lower your cholesterol and lower your blood sugar so you don't overeat, because when you stop taking shots, you stop taking weight loss shots, your body goes back and starts gaining weight because you eat more calories and you crave more foods and your appetite is back. So my appetite was back, but I always felt so full because my stomach probably shrunk during the past 4 months when I eat like less food. And now every time I eat, I felt so bloated, so heavy. And because I'm taking the berberine as a supplement, yes, TMI, too much information, but beet make you go. Because I couldn't go, like I got constipated for 5 days and I couldn't go, and maybe it was traveling, but that's a part of life. Hello. How are you? How was your rehearsal?
Good.
Good? Oh, I'm glad. Do you want anything to eat? I made borscht, but I can make you something else. No? You good? Okay. Я буду делать еще котлетки. I'm gonna make котлетки and later you can eat котлетки. Okay? Like after I finish with my salad, I'm gonna make котлетки. Okay? Okay. Please don't wear shoes in the house. So, kitchen. Okay, who else is here? 2 people. So finally I could eat. And that's why it looks like I cook a lot, but I only cook like very healthy food with, less sodium, less like grease. And again, I like beef broth. And if you cook soups, make sure you buy the meat on the bone, because the bone has collagen. That's good for us. That's good for Asian women to have collagen. So try to buy like chicken and do your own chicken broth, and that's pure collagen. That's good for you. That's good protein. Good, not as much grease, but good protein for you. So beets. Everybody in my family love beetroot salad. Even my older daughter, she likes this beetroot salad. We call it vinaigrette. It's a weird name because vinaigrette, it's more like a dressing here, like balsamic vinaigrette. That's people in the United States, they call the dressing for the salad here. But vinaigrette, for some reason, we call the beet salad vinaigrette. So I probably need to look it up why in Russia they decided to call it vinaigrette, the beet salad. So in my family, my little one, my younger daughter, she wouldn't eat vinaigrette, but my dad really likes vinaigrette. He has problem with chewing because he has like partial dentures and it's hard for him to chew hard foods. But vinaigrette is very soft foods. That's why my dad eats lots of potatoes. Every day my dad eats a potato. And that's why my dad likes fish. I cook fish maybe once or twice a week, and he also like fish because when you cook fish, it's like easier to chew than beef or chicken breast and stuff. But this week I cooked some chicken breast, and I cook my котлеты pretty much every week because they are made from ground turkey and from ground chicken, and it's easy to eat. But for tomorrow is Sunday, and since we're not traveling, next Saturday we're traveling for the competition season. Next competition will be in Kissimmee, again in the same place we had it a couple of weeks ago. So I decided to cook a lot this week because maybe next week I'm not gonna cook as much. So for tomorrow I'm gonna marinate some chicken wings, and I'm gonna bake some chicken wings tomorrow. Yes, it's already nice and warm outside, but in Florida it's going to be cold in 20 Fahrenheit, like below 0 in Celsius. It's going to be on Tuesday, it's going to be cold again. So my other older daughter, she dropped off my younger kid and she went to a birthday party right after the rehearsal. Yeah, she was telling me she's gone, so she didn't even get in the house. She just dropped her off and she took the car, took off. Yeah, so kids are growing, they're so much more independent, they know what they're doing, they have a lot of homework on the weekend. But today I told Stella, now it's like, what time is it, 1:08? Okay, so I told her after I'm done cooking, I'm gonna take her somewhere to Target or just for a little outing so she doesn't feel like last weekend I wasn't here, so this weekend we're gonna catch up with Stella, spending time together. 2 weeks ago I took her to the fair. She met her friend and went on some rides on the fair, Luna Park. But last weekend I wasn't here, but she had competition. But this weekend I'm here, so I'll take Stella somewhere. She's always hanging with her friends. Oh, something else I wanted to tell you. I don't know if Zoe's going to be mad at me or not, but this week, my daughter Zoe, she is a junior in high school, so she had college night when you go and you listen about different colleges and the admission process and what kids have to write in their essays, blah, 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 how to choose college. So there were some representatives from few colleges. So it was called college night. So I went on Tuesday. I was very stressed at work. And again, when you come back after the vacation, you, for some reason, you're like, you left for 3 days, but your work piled up like you were not there for 2 weeks. So I've been a little bit stressed. But anyways, I made sure I sleep good and I eat good. But on Tuesday night, right after work, I went to college night. And why I'm smiling, because it's a very new feeling to me. I met, do you remember the movie? Do you remember the funny movie with Adam Sandler? Who was there? And Barbara Streisand, meet the fuckers. So I met parents of my, of Zoe's boyfriend. And I felt weird. I don't know. I'm not ready for that. He's a good boy. They've been dating since maybe November. I don't know, a couple of months. And the boyfriend's parents are super nice, super easygoing. Zoe likes to go with them they invite her they take her out to eat out in the restaurant. They invite her to their house for dinner, and she's hanging out with them. And I finally got to meet them on Wednesday when I went to college night. They were sweet. They were very nice people. And at first I was a little reserved because it's new feeling, I don't know. I in high school, those relationships, they don't usually last. They break each other's heart and they move on. So I don't know. It's new to me. I don't know how to behave with the parents. They're not my relatives. I don't think like high school sweethearts can be often like long time relationship. I don't believe in that. I think they just get their feet wet in relationships when they're in high school. So I felt a little awkward, to tell you the truth, but they were super nice. They made me feel comfortable, and we chatted about colleges, about what the kid wants to do as a major. And they shared they have an older daughter that went to college, and she went to college before COVID, and she did everything by herself. They didn't even need, she was on top of things. So they said it's so much different with the girl when the girls are very self-sufficient and organized, and with their boy, it's like their middle child. And they also have another daughter who is the age of my younger daughter. So they say, we know how you feel, because I say, college is new to me. I've never sent my kid to college before. So, and they said, yeah, with our older daughter, she did everything by herself. But with this boy, they need to always, be there for him to make sure he does what he's supposed to do. So I'm like, Zoe knows what she's doing, but, without my husband's supports, without my husband navigating her, like he's in her business, and that's our point, our culture, and I think their culture too. They're immigrants too. So it's funny because I smiled because I felt like I met people from my own country. They're not from my own country, but I felt like I met people who understand what I'm talking about, because we're on the same page. We're both immigrant parents, and we have high expectations from our kids to become someone. And I think we were on the same page. So I kind of feel it's nothing serious, but I kind of feel we made a connection because we are both immigrant parents and we are raising American kids. So it was nice. I'm smiling because it's, when you feel awkward, just smile and just kind of like, I wasn't trying to have a lot of humor, but I was grateful to, to express my thoughts. And they said, yeah, we expect them to pick something they like and meaningful program, blah, blah, blah. And they say, yeah, we know, like their son wants to take major like business or engineering or something like, and they try to push him to get AP courses and like advanced courses in 12th grade, so he has a better chance to have a good portfolio for a good college. So and Zoe, we hoping she'll go to the state school, and we hoping she gets Bright Future scholarship. It's a big deal to get Bright Future scholarship because it helps with tuition. If your kid goes out of town to go to college, it's going to be a lot of different expenses with housing, with food and stuff. So we're going to help with that financially, but we'd love her to have scholarship for tuition. It's a big deal. Schools are expensive here. So we'll see. Hopefully she'll qualify for Bright Future scholarship, and hopefully she'll get accepted to the college she wants. But we help her, we support her, we talk to her, and she goes to a great school. We challenge her with the classes. In 12th grade, she's gonna take calculus, and she already kind of knows her major. So it's all new to me. But again, I'm not freaking out. I kind of trust my kid because my parents were nosy. I'm nosy too, but I know I'm not alone. You know, I'm stepping back because my husband is on top of things. And you know, girls at this age, they try their fathers. For some reason, my daughter, she trusts her father, and his opinion matters. And I'm like an old fart. Like I'm generation X, so they think mom is cringy. She doesn't know as much, but it's okay. I don't mind, because I still think that it's important for me that my husband made such a successful career in the United States, being an immigrant. I think he has a lot more insights how to motivate my daughter to do good in school, and how to get to a good college, and how to get good education. So I trust, I trust him to kind of navigate, but I still went to college night because I want to be in the loop. I want to know what they're talking about, and I want to know, like, when it's time in summer, we already need to go and visit colleges, like physically go to visit different campuses. And again, I do get like overwhelmed and anxious, but I learned how to curb my anxieties. I learned how to deal with these things, like one day at a time. You know, your kid is doing well. It's not like she has more chances to get into good school. So you kind of like, you pace yourself. You have trust and faith, and you thank God for every day and where we now. But you're sweeter. G. Brooks. I'm sweeter. Thank you. No, they were super sweet people, so it's interesting. Meet the parents of the boyfriend. Oh my gosh. So what else? Смотрите, какой красивый салат получается. Сейчас картошка. But you're sweeter. You're so sweet to say that. So what else? What else? Tomorrow, I don't know. Подскажите мне, девочки, если вы говорите по-русски. Tomorrow is Forgiven Sunday. I think we have the holiday, the religious holiday in Russia. I don't know if it's this Sunday or next Sunday when we forgive everybody, when we ask for forgiveness and we get forgiven. Вербное воскресенье. Завтра или нет? Или я что-то перепутала? Все, сейчас сделаю свой салат, покушаю борща. И... Well, that's all I wanted to talk to you about it. So if you feel insecure, if you feel, if you're doubting yourself, I just wish you to have patience and wisdom. And I just want to tell you that those are just feelings. They may easily pass, but you don't need, even if you doubt yourself at some point in life, don't get stuck in that mentality. Just move on. Just do something meaningful to get unstuck, So it's not always about your thoughts and feelings. Like when you wrap up in the thoughts and feelings, it's unproductive. When you start doing things, that's more productive, That's going to bring you forward. That's going to get you unstuck. So just start with the small things. If you doubt yourself, just find a friend you can confide. Just find a friend you feel good to be around. Just, if you don't like, your appearances, try to improve something. And I don't necessarily say, yeah, people should lose weight. I'm a big, now since I lost weight, I'm a big advocate that you should lose weight because it's a part of your physical health. I truly believe that, being in a certain weight helps you avoid a lot of diseases and chronic illnesses. So if you doubt yourself, if you think you're unhealthy, just start doing something. Just start doing more steps. If you don't have like strong will, like if you can't beat your cravings and your appetite, just go to the doctors. These days the pharma is working for you. Don't be afraid to use the progress of medicine. I'm not ashamed that I'm using the shots to get thinner, and it's like a crutch. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be in the long term, but I'm living in the moment. I'm enjoying my body. I'm enjoying my healthy habits in the moment, and I'm sure if those healthy habits, they're going to last, because I don't want to go back to my heavy weight, and I'll try to act. I'll try to put the best effort not to go back to my unhealthy weight. So I encourage people not to get stuck and feel and doubt yourself. We all have these feelings of doubting ourselves. We all have these feelings, that we were like offended by toxic people at some point in life. But it's not productive to get stuck and hate yourself for the rest of your life. It's better to move on, and it's better to change something, and it's better to grow. It's easy to say, but even small steps, like why people can't cook for themselves. Like, I don't get this mentality, oh, I can't cook. Yeah, I understand you can't go to the gym and lift heavy weights because it's like physically, it's like uncomfortable. But why people can't cook for themselves? You know why? Because they're freaking lazy. So if you're overweight, just start cooking for yourself. It's good when you do something with your hands, and it's good for your mental health too. Just start from chopping your own salads. Just try it. So I'm blunt because I don't like lazy people. I've never been lazy. I don't like lazy people. I don't like when people tell me, oh, cooking is so hard. No, lifting weight is hard, Running in the 95-degree weather is hard. But don't tell me chopping some salad is hard. Don't tell me cooking the freaking soup in 30 minutes is hard. Don't tell me peeling potatoes is hard, People are lazy. Yeah, people are lazy. And if you feed this laziness, you're not going to get far. So I think everybody needs to make an effort to do something good for themselves. And I strongly believe that cooking for yourself is something you can do good for yourself, So don't tell me that, packed food from the store is good and tasty. Don't tell me fancy restaurant food is better than what you can cook and control, all the ingredients in your food cooking at home. Don't tell me these things. I'm not going to agree with you, and we can agree to disagree. But in my book, if you're not cooking your own meals at least 3 times a week, it's a very unhealthy habit to eat out. If you're not cooking your family's food at least 3 or 4 times a week, you're lazy in my book, So if you're lazy, I don't expect you to, prove a point to me, but it's up to you. It's your language of love and care for your family. I like to cook because it's the language of love for my family to cook and have tasty and healthy and meals when I put my love and care in my meals. So If you're not used to that mentality, that's okay for me. But don't come crying on my shoulder when you have diabetes from all that crappy food you have in the store. All I'm gonna tell you that you had very bad habits and you were lazy to cook for yourself. So if you wanna improve the quality of life, if you wanna improve the quality of your health, I suggest you learn how to cook, and you cook simple meals for you and your family. So that's the road, and that's the something you can improve, at least in your health. Also, when people say, oh, I can't sleep, you have so many tools these days to improve your sleep. Just go make yourself go to sleep early. I also wanted to show you the tea. I buy it in Publix, and this tea makes wonders. Take magnesium, go to your doctor, discuss if you need to take something for your sleep, but do something. You can't just say I can't sleep well. You should start into like some sort of a routine, relaxing routine. There are so many tools and knowledge around us these days. I don't understand how people still complain that they cannot do this or that. There is so much information around us. You can just go and dig any topic to improve your lifestyle, to improve the quality of life every day, to improve your attitude, to improve your own mental state. So I just believe that people, they can help themselves, and that's their own responsibility to help themselves. And I believe that people are self-destructive, so it's their own responsibility when they choose to be self-destructive. So it all, at the end of the day, we come to this world alone, and we live this world alone, so that's your responsibility to take care of your body and your mental health. And then if you're a happier and well-rounded person, you can be raising good kids, and you can be a good employee, and you can be a good boss, and you can be just a good person to be around. So I think it's all in our own hands. Thank you for being with me this live stream. Thank you for cooking with me. I'm gonna finish my salad. I'm gonna have a little, like early dinner, and I'll take my daughter somewhere. I hope you have a nice weekend. Come tomorrow. I'll probably do a live stream tomorrow to cook wings for my family. I'll show you how I cook wings. It's super easy, chicken wings. So stay tuned. Thank you for spending time with me in my beautiful kitchen and cooking with me and listening to my philosophy of life. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.